From Barton Mendes-Soto, appearing on behalf of the complainant, Laura Norton, who is also online.
Thank you. And then Frank is here as well. Okay. Um, so I have been doing some review of this, and I think it's worthwhile to just briefly talk about what got us to this point. At the hearing back in May, Judge Mangum voted to dismiss the complaint. Judge Thomason and I disagreed for two major reasons. The first one was we think there's obviously a conflict in the evidence as to what happened at that meeting. And then we were both expressed some concerns about what seems to be conflicting statements made by the councilman that also impacted our decision to be here. But obviously what we need to focus on, and what I think the focus should be, is hearing testimony from the four people who were actually in the room at the time, because that's the inquiry that we have. I don't need to, unless somebody else disagrees, I don't think we need to hear from anybody other than those four witnesses, because they're the percipient witnesses on what we're concerned about. As far as the amicus brief is concerned, I think we should look at, I've looked at it, I'm sure my colleagues have looked at it, and we can discuss it after we take the testimony if need be. So that's the way I'd like to proceed. Anybody have any comments about any of that?
I have a comment. I don't believe I was the one that moved to dismiss.
No, you voted for the no, I'm sorry. I just saying you voted for the motion. Didn't you say you thought the motion should have been granted? I said I was talking about the vote on the motion, or maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't believe so, but
okay.
I thought there's some
and then he should be allowed to testify last. Tim, if that's okay with you.
Mr. Chairman, that's fine. I did add Greg Catton to the witness list. It's certainly our position that we would like brief testimony from him. I think it'll provide a little bit of context, but I think we should proceed with the four.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
That.
Okay. All right. Then, and how do we want to proceed? I assume. Well, from the perspective, my perspective, and that I think of Tim and Jim, this is a legal proceeding. So I think we should probably go with whoever is going to proffer the witness. Let there be cross-examination and do it the way we would in a normal case. So Frank, you want any suggestions on who we should start with? I was thinking maybe Ms. Andrews and then the other two witnesses.
Your Honor, I think perhaps we could leave it to Mr. Barton, who has the burden, and let him maybe present the evidence the way he prefers to do that.
That's fine with me, Mr. Barton.
What Judge Fleischman, you said, because following up on what you said about the focus, I agree. The focus needs to be on what was said in that meeting. We've read, or I've reviewed all the transcripts, the interview transcripts. My request would be let's focus on that. I don't think we need a lot of other extraneous testimony. That would be my request, to focus on that and be as expeditious as we can. Thank you for.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, we all know that Ms. Andrews suggested that they go to see these employees. They went over there, so I think we should start when the people walk to the employee's office and go from there. So, Mr. Barton, who would you like to call first?
Your Honor, I guess as a first question I have is, has the panel reviewed the video deposition of Ms. Joe already, or do I need to offer excerpts from her testimony?
I'm good. I'm good with that. I've looked at it. How about you guys?
No, I reviewed it, so that'd be helpful.
All right.
Okay.
What I would like to start with then is playing excerpts from the video deposition of Ms. Joe, And I think it makes sense to allow Tim to provide, if he wants to, play other sections, that makes sense, or however we want to move forward on that. But if the court will allow, then or the panel will allow, I'll start with playing those excerpts.
Okay, that's fine.
We're gonna have lunch there.
Yeah, I know. It's bigger than I thought.
Bring it to them.
I'm going to mute other people here. I can hear other people in the background. So
And I have sent a request that I be allowed to share.
yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
Yes.
Ms. Sal, is it Miss Sal?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. And as we begin, Mr. Lasota, I think you have something to put on the record.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Yes, I would just like to put a formal objection to the respondents' attorneys asking questions, as the rule seems to contemplate only the.
And before I go on, can everyone hear the video? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
A city council member wanted to request a change. How would that come to you ordinarily if a city council member wanted to request a change to the budget or to the proposed budget?
We don't. I don't normally have interaction with council member. Like we get direction from manager. It's not my level.
Have you ever had a manager give you direction that you understood was initiated by a city council member that went to a director and then went to your manager, or do you just not know if that ever happened?
I don't know. I don't know what the question is.
My question is, have you ever been involved in processing a change to a proposed budget that was initiated by, the proposed change was initiated by a council member and maybe went to a director and then that filtered down to you? Has that ever happened to you? Has that ever happened while you were working for the city?
I don't have that knowledge because I just do whatever my manager told me to.
All right, I understand. Thank you. And to whom do you directly report?
Analia Johnson.
Analia Jones, thank you. Are you familiar with a project called the 68th Street Sidewalk?
Yes.
And do you know if the 68th Street Sidewalk project is currently included in the fiscal year 25-26 proposed budget capital improvement plan? Is it currently included in that plan?
Yes.
Do you know if that project was ever removed from the plan?
At one point, the construction was removed from the proposed budget.
And do you know why it was removed from the proposed budget?
So Friday afternoon, Councilmember Graham come to my office and requested to move the project out.
And when that happened, did you notify other members on your team that you had received that request from the council member?
Analia is in my office.
Anna Lee was in your office when the interaction occurred?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you remember what the council member said specifically that caused you to think that he was directing you to remove a project from the budget?
I don't remember the exact word. My memory is like move out or take out.
Understanding that this is not a direct quote, but can you put move out or take out in context? Like, what do you think he said that used the phrases move out or take out?
I remember I did confirm. I said something like, does that mean we're moving out of the 5-year plan?
That was your question. Does it mean that we're moving it out of the 5-year plan?
Yes.
And what did he say in response to that?
I don't remember, but I think the idea is yes. My manager asked me to move it out and then tell the project manager. So I'm doing what my manager told me.
And your manager is, again, who?
Analia Johnson.
Okay, so Analia Johnson told you to move the project out of the fiscal year 25-26 budget. Is that correct?
So we were 25, 26 proposed. Yeah, so we were making an amendment to the project. But yes, and Analia asked me to send the email to the project manager first to kind of make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay. Did Annalee tell you to do that shortly after the interaction that you and Annalee had with the councilman?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
And you believe that Annalee told you that because of what the councilman said? Is that right?
Yes.
But you don't remember the precise words that the councilman used?
I don't.
I want to just get a little bit more understanding about this exchange. I understand you don't remember the precise words, but do you remember, did this interaction with the council member take more or less than, say, 5 minutes?
I think it's less than 5 minutes. It's very short.
Would you say that each of you exchanged a sentence or two, or was it a longer conversation than just each person exchanging a sentence or two?
Probably just a few words.
So that seems like a pretty short exchange for you to come away with the idea that you need to take something out of the budget. Can you tell us why, with such a short exchange, you came to believe that you should change the proposed budget?
Because I asked, does that mean we're moving this project out of the 5-year plan? And the answer is yes.
Okay. During this exchange, did the council member ask you for any information? Did the council member say, can you tell me something about the project, or did he just give this exchange that we've discussed so far?
He first asked to see the status of 2 projects, and I pulled out our budget versus actual expenditure report from our system.
And those projects that he was asking for the status of, were either one of those projects the 68th Street sidewalk project?
Yeah, 68 is one of them.
Okay. So first he asked for the status of the project, and then he said something else that caused you to believe he wanted it to be moved out of the 25-26 proposed budget. Is that right?
Yes.
Aside from your manager and the council member, were there any other individuals who could have overheard this conversation that was happening?
Sonia, our city treasurer, is in the hallway. If I remember right, she was in the hallway.
And I'm not familiar with the layout of your office, so would someone in the hallway be able to hear the conversation that was happening in your office?
I think so.
How do you know that Sonia was in the hallway?
Sonia introduced Councilmember Grant to me.
And then did Sonia sort of just stay in the hallway, or did she walk away and you just assumed that she was close by?
I think she's in the hallway.
When you were interviewed about this before, do you recall characterizing your exchange with the council member as being, quote, weird or, quote, not expected? Do you remember saying those things?
Yes, I think I was saying it's unexpected to talk with a council member direct.
And can you say what is unexpected about that? Why is it unexpected?
Because we don't normally interact with council member. We just interact with budget director, people in our suite.
And just to be clear, your position is subordinate to the budget director, is that correct?
Can you say that again?
Your position is not that of a budget director, and your position is subordinate to the budget director, is that correct?
I report to the budget administrator, and budget administrator report to budget director.
Thank you. I'm just going to skip ahead for another minute and a half from Mr. Cassidy's interview.
I'd like to have you set the scene for us a little bit. Are you sitting in your office right now?
Right now, yes.
Yes. So this is the office where your conversation happened with Councilman Graham, is that right?
Yes.
How big is your office?
So this is how big my office is. I don't know the square footage, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So there are just two chairs basically at the door, and then there's your desk, and you're sitting behind your desk. Is there any space on the other side of your desk, or is your desk against the far wall?
Yeah, it's like this. There is space. There is space that between my desk and the other side of the board.
So, and I can see that there are two chairs there. Are those the only two chairs in your office? Other
Yes.
than the one you're sitting in?
Yes.
Okay. When this interaction happened on February the 7th, was Councilman Graham sitting or was he standing?
He's standing by me. Standing by me, yes.
So can you sort of show us with your hands where he was standing?
Like here.
Oh, okay. So he's standing right next to you then.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in your interview, you mentioned that he was looking at the computer, basically, right? You're basically
Yes.
showing him the computer. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
This is all that I intend to enter from the video deposition. So is it okay to start from where I am now, or do you want me to
Yes,
rewind?
that would be fine. Yes.
Okay.
When you were having the conversation with Councilman Graham, were you also looking at the computer?
Yes.
And he was also then looking at the computer. Is that fair to say?
I didn't look at him. I assume he's looking at the computer.
Where was Analia Johnson during your conversation?
She's in the room. I don't know where she is, but she's close by. Probably standing somewhere in this area too.
Okay. And how about, you mentioned Sonia Andrews. Now, who is Sonia Andrews? So let me make sure I understand. So you report to Analia Johnson, correct?
Yes.
And Analia Johnson reports to the budget director, right?
Yes. But at that time, the budget director was vacant. So Analia Johnson was the acting budget director.
Okay. And so the position of budget director then reports to the city treasurer, and that's Sonia Andrews, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So at this interaction with Councilman Graham, you actually had Sonia Andrews, and you said that she was basically at the door or in the hallway at the time, right?
Yes. From my memory, yes.
And then you had Analia Johnson, and then you had you. So you had the whole range of people involved in the budget process from your office in that meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Can you stop it, Jim, for just a second? So I just got a note that everyone has, in fact, seen this video.
That was for me. This is Tim Thomas, and I know I've seen the interview, and I think the other two members of the panel have seen it.
Well, see, I thought Judge Mangum said he had not.
He said he hadn't seen the deposition. Was I thought what he said.
I read the interview that Frank Cassidy had, but I hadn't seen or read the deposition.
And this is the deposition that
This
we're
is
the
looking at right now.
Yeah. So why don't we keep on going and just,
Okay.
It's 18 more minutes. I guess we might have, I mean, unless someone wants to stop it first. So push the, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's
All right.
fine.
Thanks.
When you were having the conversation with Councilman Graham, was he directing his comments to all three of you or just to you? Since you were all there, could you tell?
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you notice whether Councilman Graham, when he said put it out or get it out, whatever it was he said, whether he turned toward the door or whether he was looking at you at the time?
I don't know. I was looking at the computer.
Right. Okay. Did Sonia Andrews say anything during your February 7th discussion with Councilman Graham? I think in your interview,
I don't
you said
remember.
that she introduced, and she even said
Yes.
again today that
She did.
she introduced you. Is that right?
Yes, she did introduce Councilmember Graham to me.
And that was because you didn't know him before that. Is that right?
Yes.
Did she say anything else after introducing you to him?
I don't remember.
Now, Mr. Barton kind of already asked this, but from as far as you could tell, was Sonia Andrews close enough to hear your entire conversation with Councilman Graham?
Yes, probably, yes.
And as a result of this very brief interaction you've talked about, did Sonia Andrews give you any direction concerning the 68th Street sidewalk project? Either immediately during that conversation or immediately afterward?
No.
But you did say in response to Mr. Barton that Analia Johnson talked to you immediately after Councilmember Graham left. Is that right?
Yes.
And she said, go ahead and remove it.
So it's not remove it, it's add a amendment. Well, the amendment is to remove the construction part of the budget. Yeah, add amendment.
Okay, and you did that, right? In fact, I think there's a 315 on February the 7th amendment to the budget. Is that right? That was the one that you did?
I didn't do it that day because I don't know how. And I emailed the project manager and asked them what amount I'm going to remove, how. And there was a chain of email, and Analia asked direction from the acting city manager. And he replied, he said he will finish design. And Analia said, okay, remove the construction to future. So I add an amendment to that project in the proposed 25-26 and move to the construction to future years. And later, Analia said, we'll remove it. So I removed the amendment.
Oh, okay, so later you actually removed the amendment, removing it, so that put it back in. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's like probably weeks later.
Okay. But all of that happened after your meeting, your discussion with Councilman Graham, right?
Yes.
Have you ever met a council member, even outside of your office, to talk about a capital improvement project or a CIP project that's in the proposed CIP?
No.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now it's Miss Joe, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm obviously Councilman Graham's attorney, Tim Lasota. So I mean, and I know you're probably sick of talking about this, but it sounds like from your testimony that for all you know, when Barry was speaking, as he was looking at the computer and you were looking at the computer, he was directing his comments to somebody else in the room or who could hear. Is that correct?
I don't think. I no.
Well, I thought on direct you said you didn't really know who he was talking to. Is that correct?
Well, he's definitely talking to me and Analia.
Well, what about Sonia Andrews?
He's not in my office. She was not in my office.
Well, who brought Barry? Well, how did Barry Graham come to end up in your office, if you know?
She introduced him to me.
Okay. She said, "This is Councilman or Vice Mayor Graham."
Yes, and I stand up and I remember I shook hands. I said,
Okay.
"Nice to meet you," or something like that.
And is Miss Andrews in your office at this point?
No, I think she was in the hallway or something.
Okay. So Miss Andrews brought Barry there and brought him to you to look at, and he ended up looking at your computer, correct?
Yes,
Who asked you to pull it up on your computer,
who asked me to pull? I don't remember.
the project? You don't remember if it was Barry, Anna, or Sonia?
I don't remember.
Okay. But Sonia comes and introduces you and then but stands not in the room, but in the doorway or hallway. Is that
Yes,
okay? But you said she could hear the conversation that was going on in your room. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay. So how do you know that Mr. Graham's comments weren't intended for Sonia?
I don't know how to. I don't know. I just do what my manager told me to do. So I don't know.
Well, but we're talking about what Mr. Graham said when he was in your office. I mean, this is what we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you know that wasn't directed to Sonia, since she could hear his comments anyway?
I don't think this is my determination.
But that's just a question. I mean, could Mr. Graham, when he said the comments, he said you weren't looking at him, could he have been talking to Sonia also?
I don't know.
Okay. But I mean, he didn't say, Miss Joe, take it out, or did he?
I don't remember he called my name.
Okay. And do you remember, and you don't really remember exactly what he said, is that correct?
I don't remember the exact word. It's something like move out or take out.
But do you remember, did he just say that? Or did he say take it out? Or did he say, I would like to take it out? Do you remember exactly what he said?
Okay, I don't remember the exact word, but it's probably take it out. It's not I would like to take it out.
Well, but on direct, you said it was a request. In your email, you said it was a request, And I think when Mr. Cassidy interviewed you, you called it a request about 4 times.
It is a request, to my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay. Okay. So Mr. Graham requested that the item be moved out. Is that accurate?
To my understanding, yes.
Okay. Now you
I don't need to, unless the panel wants to hear more, I think that's about it for what I think is important anyway.